So this is trail day number 62. It is Sunday, August the 16th, 2020. Stayed last night at the Clarendon shelter. The shelter is not too far down there, and the privy is way back up the hill when you come in on the AT. So didn't do a lot of miles yesterday. I looked at it last night. I think it was like 5 miles. I went to that deli to get a sandwich, and then met those people that wanted to give me a ride, and then they wanted to give trail magic to other hikers. And some hikers showed up there shortly afterwards that I hadn't seen in a while. So then it got later in the day, and then apparently this shelter, the Clarendon shelter, there's a gentleman who lives local, who visits the shelter every afternoon, brings trail magic for the hikers. So yeah, had a good time last night, but I was up early this morning. Got up at 6:30. It's a little after 8:30, and I am on the trail. But I got to make up the miles I missed yesterday, so I'm going to try to do a 17-mile day and get to the shelter just south of Killington, so that I can get into Killington Monday morning, go to the post office and get a resupply. That is the plan anyway. We'll be going over Killington Peak today. I figure I did 15 miles over Stratton Mountain. I should be able to do 17 miles over Killington. But we'll just have to see. So right off the bat, we've had a good climb. That's the trail we're going up. And that's the trail we just came up. It's a fairly steep grade. It's definitely a calf burner, that's for sure. That's not super technical, but it's kind of one of those uncomfortable steeps where your feet are angled too much at that weird angle trying to go up it. And I think when this one peaks out, it's just a short, and then you have another up. So definitely getting some good uphill in today. So we got to the top of that climb. It's Beacon Hill, and now we're going kind of downhill. So elevation profile, well, I guess it showed like a little downhill. I always hate that. You go uphill and then you go downhill a little bit just so you can go uphill some more. Yeah. Like, can't we just get all the uphill done and then go downhill? But I guess it wouldn't be as much fun if it did that. We are out here for a challenge after all. A perfect temperature. It's like, let's see, 68 degrees with a slight breeze. Which yesterday the weather was good too. It's been nice hiking weather pretty much ever since I got to Vermont. I don't remember New Jersey being extremely hot. I may have been there when it was cool a couple days. Or it could have just been I was so happy to be out of Pennsylvania I didn't pay attention. But Pennsylvania and New York especially was stifling hot. If it just stayed this temperature until I could get to Maine. No colder, no hotter. And when the trail's like this, got this nice pine duff on top of it. It's just flowy. Vermont's got a few little challenges thrown in there here or there, but so I heard a gondola on Killington Mountain is running today. Take you down into town, but I'm going into Killington on Monday because I need to go to the post office and they're not open on Sunday. So I don't suppose I'll be riding a gondola. I hear some poor individual out mowing grass. I think about that when I hear a lawnmower. All the hours I spent before moving a camper when I had a house on mowing grass. Like all the hiking I could have done, or the camping. Oh well, no grass to mow anymore, so that's why I'm hiking. Hey, there you go, folks. If you want to hike the AT, then just get rid of your lawn. So there's a trail magic box here at the road. And it is full of hiker garbage. Come on now. Now there may have been a note in there that said, leave your trash, I don't know. Wonder if that's our mountain we're going to be going over later. It kind of looks like the profile, but it could be one of those over there. It's one of those big hills anyway. So we've run to the spot where the AT and the brook separate, and we start going uphill. And from the looks of it in the guidebook, it will be an uphill grade of some sort for like the next 6 miles. That's a long uphill. But when we get to the top, I hear the views are wonderful. Now there's a shelter a couple more miles. I'm probably going to stop there and take a snack break. So it shouldn't be too bad of a climb. Vermont has the funniest looking squirrels. They're small and have little skinny tails. Nothing like the big poofy-tailed gray squirrels of the south. So the sign said Vista. It didn't look that far. So I figured I'd come see what the Vista was all about. Yeah, can't see much, but if they keep the trees cleared back, it was worth a little walk, I guess. So I decided to not wait till I got to the shelter to take a break. I just sat on that rock right there and had some peanut butter and honey Captain's wafer sandwich crackers and a liter of water with Crystal Light in it. And now I'm freezing to death. Oh. I'm gonna have to start doing like I did in Maryland when I stopped for a break and put my rain jacket on. Whew. I'll get warmed back up here in a minute. Apparently I was a little ahead of myself with the creek a while ago. It went up a hill to that vista and then came back down the hill to cross the creek. So I'm glad I checked out the vista. Otherwise it wouldn't have all that effort for nothing. It's kind of cool. Got a creek on both sides. So there it is. Katahdin, 500 miles. For a no-bow, that'd be the end of the line, but still, 500 miles to Katahdin. I can do that. I've walked over 500 miles already, so. This is the Governor Clement, I believe, shelter. Clemente, I don't know how you say that. You can still smell where somebody had a fire in there last night. And there's the privy over there. I think it said it follows this for like 0.3 of a mile. And so far climbing this mountain has not been bad. I think we're like 7 or 8 miles in for the day. And it is 1 o'clock. So we still got plenty of time. Well, so far the climb up Killington hasn't been bad at all. They're doing some trail work here. They're taking out these wooden crosses and putting in the rock steps. But I stopped here to get some water. Oh, I thought about it at the shelter down below, but wasn't ready to stop. But I was getting a little thirsty, so I'm going to send my hydration bladder home tomorrow. It was real handy in Pennsylvania and New York when it was super hot and water was scarce, and with the other pack where I couldn't get to reach the water bottle. But now that I can reach the water bottle, I find myself just using that. I probably have like a half a liter in my bladder. I've been toting for 3 days. That, and if I get rid of it, send it home, I don't have to worry about it as it gets colder. Freezing. Brr, talking about freezing. A nice breeze blowing up here. My shirt's soaked with sweat, so when I stop and take the pack off, if I'd have been taking more than 5 minutes, I'd have had to dig out my raincoat. When I get to the top, I'm probably going to have to get it out. According to my watch, that's like another 1,200 feet. But I haven't calibrated the watch in several days, so it could be off some. But if that spring was the one listed in AWOL, then my watch is off by about 500 feet. But we'll get there when we get there. It's always better to be a surprise, just walk out and be like, hey, we're at the top. And all these rocks the trail crews ripping out of the side of the mountain. Moving around, having to do all this by hand. I need to go out with the trail crew one time just to see how they do some of that stuff. Ski trail. So that spring was not the one listed in AWOL. Haven't quite gotten to it yet. So my watch is pretty close. It's pretty cloudy and overcast, so may not have much of a view today. The sun's peeked out every once in a while. We'll take what we can get though. So we're getting close to the top of Killington Peak. We got like another 600 feet to go. But the climb up here has not been bad. I would definitely say it's easier than climbing Stratton. Some nice cold water there, I bet you. But there's water at the top. I just drank the last of mine in the bottle, but I'll be good till I get there. But for the most part, it's been this nice grade. I mean, a constant uphill, but nothing too strenuous or steep. It's still kind of overcast, so maybe we'll get a view when we get there. Well, we're almost there. Starting to get a few peeks of a view through the trees. That's the trail where we just came up. And it's still, for the most part, staying in casual grade. I can imagine that the trail was a nightmare to cut out. Just because when they cut it, it probably looks a lot like all the rest of this. Yeah, it's definitely getting chilly up here. Wonder what it'd be like in a few more weeks when we get to Mount Moosilauke in New Hampshire. It's a taller mountain than this, and further north. I believe we have arrived at the flat spot right at the top. And it appears to be complete whiteout, but maybe it's just in the spot. Are in the clouds. Had several blowdowns up here close to the top. There was one back there that had been cut with a saw. Over here, maybe the saw messed up or something. I don't know. And nice evergreen aroma. It's kind of cool up here on top of the mountain. All these little evergreens, everything covered in moss. Got these little blueberry looking things, but they are not blueberries, so don't try to eat them. I forget what they're called. It has like a little note in the AWOL guide. I saw it this morning. But I had saw some of those a week or two ago. At first I was like, man, that's a big, but then I was like, no, those are too plastic looking to be a blueberry. Well, we'll come out to the top of this thing or the shelter or something sooner or later. I bet this sucker's cold. I didn't go up to the steep peak. It's too cloudy. I don't want to go all the way up there and then not have a view. So we're headed back down Killington. It's a little after 4 o'clock. And I'm gonna try to get in 7 more miles. Well, the downhill's been pretty much like the uphill one. Just a steady grade, nothing real steep. I'm going to stop at the next shelter, take a quick break, get some water, and then I'll either skip the one after that or stay at the one after that. It'll be 17 miles or like 15 miles. I don't want to be getting there at dark, so just depends on how good a time I make between now and then. So far, cruising pretty good. This going down the backside of Killington Mountain has had the most little uphills. I guess when you think about going over and down a mountain, you just think going downhill. Whew. Yeah, I don't see how the people in the 90s before, when they had those big external frame packs that sat like 4 foot over the top of their head. How they ever got under blowdown. It's hard enough for the one that sits like even with your head. It's about typical. And go down from the view spot and the sun's out. It's all clear. But all the way up top up there, it's all cloudy and foggy. Should be getting close to the shelter, I would think. I said it was 2 miles from the Pico shelter. And I don't know what time. I didn't look, wouldn't remember if I had it, but it seems like it's been long enough to have gone that far. It's 6:15, so the next shelter says has unreliable water. Not the one coming up, but the one after that. That one I'm pretty sure I would have time to get to before dark. But I don't know about that unreliable water thing. So I hadn't fully made up my mind yet. I'm thinking, let's call it a 12-mile day, and then do the 7 into town. We got a view, and do the 7 into town in the morning. But I'll figure it out when I get to the shelter and can look at the guidebook.